Okay. Gonna put the stream up, but we are live now technically, even though probably nobody's here.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
There we go. Oh, wait, I had it.
Hungry Box playing Minecraft, bro.
Nah, he's just clickbaiting Steve again.
Oh, I was happy for a second.
Alright. Go to live chat.
Oh,
Uh,
Wakeman stream.
Crazy.
We in here.
Yes, sir, we are.
Just let me know when we're getting started. I mean lasagna. So
Bet.
okay, I should probably turn off the audio from like that stream and just like not have to listen to myself and repeat. That's
That's
kind of painful.
yeah, that's probably a good call. Ooh, message hidden from likely spammer.
I think it's Thunderball.
No, it's not Thunderball. It's Hasky123.
Oh, I thought it was in YouTube.
Nah. Okay, pulling it up on my phone so I can see chat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Thunderball. It's
Okay.
okay.
I'm listening to myself from you now. It's kind of.
Yeah,
Mm,
I turned it off. I was just making sure the audio sounded good.
thank you.
All right. Well, we got 5 people watching, so I think I'll just go ahead and we'll start. So yeah, I mean the VOD will be up on YouTube. So anyway, Ed, we're not even talking about your team today, bro. Who are you rushing? um, so we're just gonna go in draft order here. So maybe let me try to order these real quick. Nah, it
You
doesn't
don't
matter.
gotta.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
It doesn't matter.
So we're gonna start with radials. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm 12th and you're
You're
14th. So okay, there's no way for us to avoid having to change the order. So I'll just start with radials. Um.
yeah.
All right. So this team is interesting. Um, Hands, Mudsdale, Comfy, Rotom, Heat, Crawdont, Victory Bell, Electros, Swanna, Arcalodon, Torracat, Bruxish, Braviary, for those not watching but listening. Um, I I mean obviously the first thing I like that people may think of when they think of this team is like, oh, it's got Iron Hands. The issue is I don't know how good of an Iron Hands team this is. Like Comfy is good for it, I think. Like being able to heal it is great. Other than that though, like your Trick Room setter is Bruxish, which is like fine, but like Bruxish is great value for a tier 5. Like that, and same with Torracat. I think they're both really good. Like the value that Radial got generally is pretty good, except okay, wait, I don't get Victory Bell. And our Caledon with also with no rain is a little strange. Yeah, Thunderball, I agree with that. Um, Personally, I would just ditch our Caledon on this team, and instead get something that complements hands offensively more. I think the best Iron Hands comps that I've personally seen, generally it's like the oh yeah, Comfy gets Trick Room right. Yeah, good point. I literally have that on a team right now, so
Yeah.
I should
It's
know
right
that.
there.
Still like there should probably. I feel like Hands team wants a better setter, right? Probably.
It's a fine setter, but I'll get to my opinion in a second.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I think the speed tiers on this team are also like dog ass. Like 100 being Comfy, which like also doesn't really do damage. and so it's like Swanna's not a Pokemon, so you're like kind of your fastest Pokemon is Bruxish. And then the Tailwind is Braviary, which is also slow. I I just I don't know. I struggle with this team. What do you
Don't think
think?
it's Tailwind, bro.
Oh, true. I that mon just gets everything apparently.
Yeah, it's actually kind of good. Anyway, I I kind of agree with you there. It's like it's a really weird hands team. It's like it's not really structured in a very conventional way. I can't really put my finger on that structure exactly, but it's not exactly a bad team per se. But I think it has a lot of stuff that I think doesn't really need to be there. Like Arcaludon is like a nice Pokemon without Rain, but like you it's not really worth the tier one spot without Rain. I'm gonna be honest. If you don't have a reliable Rain setter, our Caledon isn't gonna be performing at a tier one level consistently like it should. Comfey Hands, Comfey Hands is like really the only thing I really kind of believe in on this team,
Mhm.
and I think that's really gonna carry Radio throughout most of the season. But I just think there's a lack of cohesion here. Like the team doesn't feel like a well-oiled machine, and like more of a collection of different Pokemon. Not even like a collection of really good broken Pokemon, but just a collection of Pokemon that like have an idea of what they may want to do, like
Mm.
game to game.
The other thing is like
That's my opinion there.
Quakeslide is good into a lot of teams, but look at Quakeslide into this team, bro. Like hits hands, hits Rotom, hits Swanna, Arcaludon, Torracat, Braviary. My point is like the defensive synergy doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Though he does have a lot of ground immunities. He has 4, so I just there's just some weird type double ups too that I just don't really get.
Oh yeah. Also, Thunderball makes a really good point, or whoever said that, Gentle or Thunderball, I don't remember. Um, Humpay, Humpay having to carry everything is really
Yeah.
rough because I think I think it being a sole trick room setter is completely fine, but it being your only tailwind setter isn't great here. But eh, it's it's fine. If I wanted to put this in any tier, I put it in either low B or high C because
I
it's
was
honestly not the worst team
I
ever.
was thinking
But
borderline C and D.
oh,
These speed tiers are trash, and the speed control is middling.
oh, he doesn't have a single Pokemon for base 100.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
the fastest Pokemon is Comfy, which typically is just spamming priority anyway.
A middle ground
Which
between that and C. Put it in there.
yeah, and we can move it up or down depending on like the tiers will be relative. So if we don't find a
Yes,
single team that's like worse than this, then maybe it moves down. But
placements are up to be moved depending on other stuff and a change in opinion.
mm, all right,
All right, I guess I start on this one.
sure, go ahead.
Okay, this is Flame's team. He has Ogrepon Fire, Spectrium, Gothitelle, Okidoki, Black and Rock Dust, Toxtricity, Lapras, Avalok, Roaring Moon, Enamorus, Dugtrio, and Oinkologne. So I'm looking at this team and like I don't see any obvious 1-2 punches. Like general obvious cores that you generally see, but it's a collection of very strong Pokemon. And I honestly think it kind of works here. I mean, the damage output from this team is pretty insane, and he got a lot of value out of all of pretty much all of his picks. Um, Ogerpon does that's one of the best damage dealers in the game. Like not even just as a Pokemon, it probably just does the most damage you can see in general. Spectre is up there in terms of damage output. Roaring Moon is pretty good. Enamorus is pretty good. I mean, he fills out a lot of speed tiers. There's a bit of a gap between 110 and 80, but that doesn't really matter. Um, I mean, he has a fast mode. He has a good slow mode. A lot of his Pokemon have insane damage output, but also pretty good bulk overall, and he has good utility picks. I honestly think this team is pretty incredible. I think he did good. Your thoughts, Wick?
Yeah, I. This is like, for some reason, it's weird to look at for me. Not bad weird, just like. So, I mean, I think that Ogerpon Spectre is a really cool core. Like having that. I think the support for Spectre on this team is pretty good. Like between Roaring Moon, like complements it defensively and offensively pretty well, and then Ogerpon gives it redirection, and I think also having, um, the option to shadow tag, because like if you can trap a Ghost Weak Mon in front of Spectre, like that is not a spot you want to be in. Because once
Holy
Spectre
taunt.
gets, yeah, I just noticed he has like 8 taunt users, which is really funny. But like, and a lot of snarl. So I think this team is really good. I Yeah, I mean, it like doesn't for some reason like visually like as I'm looking at it, it doesn't feel broken. But like,
It's
I
not
think
very
it's
conventional in terms of like cores, but it's a collection of very strong Pokemon that I think work together. It's like
yeah,
Radio Skin, but fully realized.
the value's there, and the speed tiers and speed control are there. Like Gothitelle and Roaring Moon are great on that front.
I
There's
honestly say, I'd honestly say put this high A or S for now.
I think I've my vote would be let's throw it in S for now. Um,
Yeah, I gentle. You said it's missing immediate damage output buttons like Flutter, but
Spectre is stronger
it
than
has a
Flutter.
it and he has a lot of Pokemon that have immediate damage output. Anyway, S tier, S tier. Move on.
I think A tier for now.
I thought you just said S.
No, I
Okay,
said
what
let's
S
throw it in
tier?
A to be conservative because I think there's some teams that are significantly better than it, but we'll find out.
Okay, that's
So Kool-Aid's team. Oh, I did say S. Yeah, my bad. I meant A. I totally said A in my head. Um. Okay, so Kool-Aid's team. He has Whimsicott, Teraki, and Monkey Dory, Tauros, Paldea, Blaze, Misdreavus, Scovillain, Ditto, Alomamamami Milkers, Walking Wake, Moltres, Galar, Flapple, and Sawsbuck. Um. Okay, so I know what you're getting in chat right now, Toxic. That's crazy.
I
Um.
wasn't trying to interrupt you. Oh,
So Benjamin. Oh wait, what's up, Ben? That's a friend of mine from high school. I haven't talked to him in a minute.
oh,
Um. So I. Oh yeah, I said it. Phoebe, who are you? Who are you? Are you in GLDL? I don't. I don't recognize your name. Anyway, I like this team. Like I. Oh okay. It's incredibly Trick Room soft. Like, I mean, come on. Ditto doesn't really count as a base 48 mon, so that could be faster or slower. Um, and then like Alamomola's not a real Pokemon. Flapple, and then 70 and up, like you're not looking at Trick Room speed tiers at that point. So the main thing is like I think this team will struggle into opposing Trick Room, but the counterplay's there. Like Misdreavus is a pretty consistent ish imprison user, even if it is taunt bait. Um, Moltres Galar also hits many Trick Room setters for big damage, and then also can just flinch them out of setting Trick Room, which is cool sometimes. Whimsicott has a Prankster Encore, so like there's options for it. I don't get the Scovillain. Like 4 grass types on the team, and there's no flying resist here, by the way, which is to me a little alarming. The fairy resists are also very unconvincing when your three best Pokemon are weak to fairy. Well, your three main damage dealers at least are weak to fairy, and your fairy resist being Monkey Dory bad and Scovillain bad, not great. Um, that being said, like I think it's fine. What is the sun mode? Whimsicott, I guess. Yeah, but like I feel like there's so many better things you could do. Like, couldn't you just set Tailwind next to like a strong tier 4 that doesn't need Sun? I don't know. It just stacks a lot of weaknesses and like, oh, Walking Wake, right? Yeah, Toxic. You know, you can say things. By the way, if I start saying dumb shit, you can stop me.
No,
Um,
no, no. I'm just gonna laugh after you're done.
oh, okay. What? That's what a real friend is for. I'm still not convinced by the Sun. Specifically the Scovillain, I think that should probably be something else. There's just a lot of type overlap here. Like 4 grass types is insane, dude. And I get that 2 of them are like literally bottom tiers, but still, I don't know. What do you think, Toxic?
Uh, this team is like in a similar place to not Cosmicos. Oh my God. Radials. I was thinking of Radial and I said Cosmicile. Um, this team is in a similar place as Radials, where it's like it's like not horrible. It seems very usable, but it seems very weirdly constructed. Like it started off strong with Whimsicott, but then like I honestly feel like this team relies too much on Whimsicott almost because Terrakion is gonna need Whimsicott for speed control, so that's not very fast. I mean, obviously, when you draft Whimsicott, you're gonna draft a team that wants to rely on its tailwind. But like Moltres doesn't really have a good chance to set up without proper redirection, and Scovillain isn't very real, if I'm being honest. Um, and it's gonna want fake tears. Your sun mode is gonna need Sunny Day, which is a smooth slot right off of Whimsicott, like on team preview most of the time. Even though that mon has a billion other moves it would like to run over Sunny Day. On top of that, the the f- eh, action air mon. I was gonna say the physical damage output coming from this team actually isn't great, but Terrakion and Tauros are strong. I just don't really get the repeat typings that
Yeah,
much,
they're
but
both fighting, which is weird to me.
that's just a personal gripe there. I mean, I honestly don't have any strong opinions on the team. It's like it's not crazy, it's not great. It's usable, it's fine. I don't know, man.
Yeah, the support for Goltris here is okay. Like, obviously, Scovillain's not the best redirector, but it is a redirector. And, like, you have Monkey Dory, like, if nothing else, it's a consistent fake out user because it has Frisk. It's very good at clicking fake out. My
Yeah,
thing
that's the
is
only
like,
thing that it's good at.
yeah, right. And then obviously like Prankster Tailwind, Fake Tears, Encore, Shenanigans with Whimsicott help it too. My issue is just like there's the repeat typings that are so unnecessary, and then like, I mean this type chart, man. Like I'm not one to normally like live or die by the type chart, but like look at this. This is terrible. Like no flying resists at all. So into a flying team. Oh, that just gave me an idea. I'm playing
No,
him this
no,
week.
keep on going.
um, into a team with like a strong flying mon. I don't know what this team does really. Um, and then like again, the 3 main damage dealers here are all weak to fairy, and you don't have good fairy resists. And then on top of that, like your 2 physical options are both fighting types, which they don't share. They share what the fighting and or sorry the psychic and ground weaknesses, which isn't the worst, but I don't like this honestly.
It's not very good. I'd almost put it like I'd put it in the same tier as radio. Wherever it goes really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's better or worse than radials, because like
I honestly think it's
radial does
less.
have the hands difference.
You know what? Let's do it.
Okay, they're
Hands
close though. All right, you want to start with Phoenix's?
Oh my god. Okay. Phoenix. Chiyu, Indeedee Male, Drifblim, Jolteon, Decidueye Hisui, Dragalge, Thickatuff, Shroodle, Primarina, Glastrier, Sandaconda, and Crocalor. When I first look at this team, holy special damage output, bro. Oh my
Yeah,
god. I mean, dude, Chiyu and Didi as Primarina is insane special output. And oh, that's nasty. And its physical output isn't okay, now that I'm looking at it, I can already see some issues. I mean, right off the bat, I think the team has really it has decent speed tiers. I like something in between 130 and 100, but it's fine. I think it could be a little bit better, but it's fine. The damage output from most members is pretty good. He has a fast mode with Tailwind. He has a slow mode with Drifloon gets Trick Room, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, okay, sure,
and Indeedee Male.
yeah. Right off the, I can see some issues with the team, like the Trick Room setters being Indeedee and Drifloon. They're fine Trick Room setters, but generally they want to contribute to the fast mode, and so I'm not sure how that's really gonna cohese with the rest of the team. My problem is when we're looking at physical damage output, Glastrier is carrying it all. And Glastrier is a really good Pokemon, but I'm not sure how much it can carry that physical damage output for the most part. I mean, you can say that the Decidueye Hisui can do some of it, but like, let's be real. Its only physical damage output option is close combat. If it's clicking anything else, it's not doing that much. But something else I see a problem I have with this team is that I think this team deserved a bit more snarl counterplay. Like I this is my opinion. When I generally draft a psychic terrain team like this one, I try to get like one defiant or competitive user specifically to deter snarl. Because looking at this team, you just click snarl like all over it outside of like the trick room mode, which even then, I mean, Primarina Glastier's a really good trick room mode, but that doesn't really solve the snarl issue for the most part. Um, but yeah, that's just my general thoughts. I think it's a pretty solid team. I just think the holes here could be patched. Sorry if I went too long there.
No, you're good, dude. Talk. We can talk as much as we want. Um, yeah, I'm just personally not convinced that the Trick Room setters here are good enough to warrant the Glastrier pick. I think Glastrier, like you said, it's a fantastic Pokemon and it's really good. My issue is like I feel like you want a better Trick Room on here or better Trick Room setter. Like Drifblim's, I guess Drifblim's bulk is
I wouldn't say better, but I think you need the trick room
150,
center
150, 44, 54. I mean the
as a
HP
trick room
stat is
center.
good.
As a trick room setter, Drifblim is fine, but I think there needs to be a trick room setter that's not a part of the fast mode.
Yeah, I still just think that he could just use a straight up better Trick Room setter, but I yeah, like you said, like if I'm playing against this team, I'm snarling every turn and I'm probably winning because not because of me, but because Snarl is so good into this team. Um I mean like there's no glaring type weaknesses I see, which is good. Like he drafted his typing's pretty well and his defensive profile in this team is good. And again, like you said, like the damage output here especially on the special side is nutty. Um, but I think this team falls into a trap that I've seen a handful of. Um, I've kind of seen this as like a handful of, or I've seen a handful of Chen Pao and Chiyu teams that kind of fall into this trap of like, I'm drafting Chiyu, so all of my Mons need to get boosted by Beads of Ruin, and it's like, I that feels like what happened here.
I
Um,
don't know, man. I think
yeah,
this
I
team
think
should probably be placed.
I think there's a
Oh, what's up?
simultaneously too much and too little committed to TR here. Yeah, I actually agree. Like,
Mm.
yeah, there's actually also is a pretty decent ground weakness here too. Sasso pointed out. It's not terrible, um, but it is there. Actually, ooh,
I
there
just
is
think
a lot of ground
I just think
weaknesses.
this team could use a trick room setter that's not a part of the fast mode and some more physical damage output that's not just glass gear because Sandaconda and the CGY aren't very strong
Yeah, they're not doing
initially.
it.
But I put this team low A or high B.
I would vote B
Okay, high B for now. Well, it's the only thing in B,
for
so
real. All right, burst team. So this team is interesting. Uh,
I have some thoughts about it, but go ahead.
okay, so this is a team that doesn't seem to care about going fast. It wants to just live hits and hit back pretty hard. Um, I think that the speed tiers are whack. Like I know I did literally just say that like it wants to go second. I just dude, I honestly like call me crazy, say maybe like this is a hot take, but I think that those kind of teams like I you need an option to go first. Like I think we saw this in week 1 and maybe it's not fair to use week 1 matches when there's only been a couple played. But it illustrated, I don't know if anyone saw the Otto versus Burst game. Like Otto literally just set Tailwind, clicked strong moves and won in game 1 at least. And I think that like kind of is indicative of a problem with this kind of team archetype is like there are Mons that have good type matchups into a lot of the good Pokemon here. Like fire types are pretty good into this team. Um, Hitmonlee is also like kind of a dead pick here. I don't really get it, but regardless, beyond that, I just think like Corv doesn't make a whole lot of sense here to me. I think it should probably be something else. There's the Chestnut also feels kind of just completely redundant because like there's a better grass type and another fighting type on the team, not including Metatite, which is like whatever. I just, I mean, we've seen this kind of team, Toxic, from Toxic, um,
Uh,
in PDPL, and I just like, I don't think it works here. Like Toxic, you had a couple fast Pokemon. I don't see the vision here. What do you have to say about this? You probably have more to say about it than I do.
yes, I do. I do actually. So like looking at the team, I like what the vision was here, to be honest. I mean, we saw this sort of team archetype, well, specifically Raging Bolt, Articuno, Arcanine H, Ninetales literally win a regional. I think that's a really good core. I think Raging Bolt with Snow is amazing. And I think that's really good. And I think Arcanine Hisui here is really good, but and Sinistra actually does pretty good work with Raging Bolt.
Yeah,
You know,
Sinister's fantastic here.
it kind of helps accomplish like the general idea of what the team wants to do. Pivot around, live forever, get intimidated, get Veil up, let Articuno win end games. I think it does that fine, but there are a few problems here. And there are also a few problems here that I noticed that were also on my PDPO team, but that's kind of irrelevant. I think if you're drafting both Raging Bolt and Snow, I think your water type has to be a little bit stronger than Gastrodon. I mean, I at least in my experience of using Raging Bolt, Gastrodon as a Pokemon, Gastrodon is very good. It's a good water type and it's a good ground type. And it does a good job at redirecting water type moves as well. It's just a good water type Pokemon. But in terms of doing water type damage, it's just not doing it. And I think this team really wants a better water type damage dealer. and Gastrodon's just not the guy for that. Um, Also, something else I noticed about this team is that, and I think you said something about this too. Also, Wick, I think the speed control here could have been a little bit better for the most part. I think the best speed control option on this team is like Ninetales Alola with Icy Wind. Tailwind Corviknight is good, but it's just not very consistent overall, and it's just not gonna work a lot. Um, and I also noticed that with my own Raging Bolt team, where a lot of the time, I this happened like every team, every week. Wake can attest to this. Every single week, I really, really, really wanted a fast Tailwind center, but I just
Yeah.
had Articuno. It sucked, and I think this team is really gonna suffer from that. Um. Anyway, not to let I'm gonna try to cut this off a little bit here, but my overall thoughts, I think it does a fine job at sitting there and being annoying a lot of the time. It's gonna be leaning on Terra, which is fine. That's gonna happen in this gen. It's just gonna happen. It doesn't matter. But like, I think this team has a lot of really key pieces that it's really gonna be missing week to week. And I think if Burst patches up those holes a little bit, get a strong water temp, get a better, faster tailwind set in, I think this team can start accomplishing some things.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Sebzi,
Also fast fake out. But yeah.
yeah, Sebzi. The reason Korv is not that consistent at setting tailwind is because it's so slow. So it's really
Yeah.
susceptible to getting one tapped or taunted. I mean, yeah, true. But if Corviknight is, I'm slow. But if Corv is as fast as me, that's not a good thing for Corv. Um,
Oh no. Okay,
but
that was not big.
um, and the other thing is too, like low key, like look at Heatwave into this team. He has some good resists, but like the snow mode, Corv, and Sinistra, like four of your biggest pieces. I mean,
I'd
he's got
I'd
Arc and
honestly
he's got Arc and Raging Bolt, so it's probably okay.
I put this team in B tier. It's
Yeah,
honestly it's a lot better. It's considerably better than the C tier teams.
I think it's
And
worse than Phoenix's.
I put it in like the same caliber. You can put it above or lower. It doesn't matter to me. But I'd say they're about one for one there, bar for bar.
Yeah, we can leave them in the same spot, and we'll figure it out later. Okay, Kyle's team. Is this you
Is
now?
it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Kyle has Ursula Blood Moon, Arcanine, Weavile, Slowking, Copperajah, Serena, Toxicroak, Pikachu, Enamorus, Yanmega, Fligu, Dragapult. Um, Honestly, this team is like I'm looking at it, and it's honestly when I first looked at it, I thought it wasn't that good. But I'm like looking at it, and it's like it's honestly pretty good when I'm looking at it right now. Maybe I'm tripping, but I think this team, like right off the bat, I noticed this team has pretty insane damage output. I mean, obviously you got the Ursaluna Blood Moon there carrying most of that damage output week to week, just putting in work. But you also have like mons like Enamorus just putting in work with good damage output. And Weavile doing insane damage with triple axle. Or like Copperajah and stuff, right? That's what I noticed right off the bat. I might be tripping there because Pokemon like Arcanine and Dragapult kind of lack that damage output sometimes. But this team, this team has pretty good speed tiers as well. It fills out, it fills out a pretty good fantasy core with Copperajah, Enam, Dragapult. I kind of wish they're on the same mode, but I feel like it's fine. It's got a good trick room setup for Ursaluna. It's got good fake out. It even has priority denial with Serena, stopping fake out into that Slowking. I mean, I might be tripping. I honestly might be tripping here. But I think this team is honestly not that bad. I honestly think it's quite good. I wouldn't say it's busted, but it's pretty good.
Mm.
Looking at it right now. I don't know. Ooh. I just noticed it. Oh wait, Enamor's gets Tailwind, I think. Never mind.
I
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Yanmega and Enam do get Tailwind. Um, I personally don't think either of them are good at setting Tailwind. So I do wish that. I mean, you have Dragapult, which is one of the fastest Pokemon, and you have Weavile, which is one of the fastest Fake Outs. However, I still think the Tailwind setters are a little bit suspect. But because the Mons are so fast here, like between with Dragapult and Weavile anyway, it's probably okay. Um, I think Ursa, Dragapult, Enam is a great like offensive backbone for any team. And like you have a good Trick Room setter. The priority, I think Serena's kind of a bum ass Mon, but
It is a bomb, but
it
it's a good
does. I mean,
priority.
it's we have Ursa Farig at home. Um, I don't think I don't get the Toxicroak feels a little unnecessary, but it does just give him two typings he didn't have.
I try not
Um,
to look at Toxicroak.
yeah, so I mean,
I put this low A.
yeah, yeah. Is it? I think it's worse than Flames.
Yeah, I'd say it's worse than Flames by like honestly a pretty considerable margin. But I'd say it's low A in like a vacuum for what I predict this tier list will look like. So let's
Yeah.
move.
All right, Bowie's team. So
Oh
this
boy.
is this is the team that started with Iron Leaves round one, and I think after that point we all were like watching really closely, like how is this team gonna turn out?
I'll
Um,
be right back. You take this one.
okay, I'll talk for a minute. So I think this team is very strange. Um, I think that the damage output is pretty much it's kind of more or less just sitting on Lando's shoulders. Um, I think that Lando is good. Like Lando is the best mon on this team for sure. And I think there's good support for it too. Like Clef and Incin, I think those are both really good mons to like make Lando do its thing. The issue is the speed tiers are trash. The speed control is also trash. Is there a trick room here? Oh yeah, Grumpig. Yeah. Um. So I drafted Iron Leaves before, and I actually liked it a fair amount. I think it's a good Pokemon. Um. The issue is because the speed tiers and speed control are so bad here, it has to run. Um. It has to run booster speed to be like actually not just die to things, and at that point, I'm it doesn't hit calcs because you can't run max attack and it has to be jolly if I'm remembering correctly. So like it's and its stabs are low base power too. It's like Psyblade and Leaf Blade and it's like 80 and 90 or something. Not great. Not great at all. So like maybe if Iron Leaves had a speed control move, I would be a little more convinced by that, but I just the issue is I feel like this team is going to be in a position a lot where you can kind of just not care about what it's doing because like other than like follow me Lando nasty plot, I just don't see that much that this team is going to just like destroy you with. The damage output like I said is just not there in my opinion. And does he have yeah, but like
I'm back.
okay, I'm just talking about how I kind of don't like this team. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, the speed control and speed tiers are bad. The damage output is bad. Um, I just like I was saying this right before you got here, Toxic, but like
Mm-hmm.
I I just think that this team, like if you're playing against this team, you're gonna be in the position very frequently where like you can kind of just not give a shit about what is happening on the other side because like unless Lando's in front of you, you can kind of just do what you want, and I feel like you're not taking that much damage. Um,
I'd include Incineroar in that.
115 attack.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's
it's
okay.
good.
It's okay. I mean, Embor does big damage, but it's also Embor. Um, what I just think like fast icy wind ends this team's existence. Like it makes it so you have to Terra your Lando. Um, Also, Duraludon is on the same team as Clefairy, which I think is not great for Duraludon because you're always putting the Evilat on Clef. What do you think about this? I personally, I'm not feeling it.
This is a very weird team overall. It's kind of like some of the it's kind of like Flaming Radios where it feels like a collection of Pokemon, but I feel like this collection of Pokemon isn't cohesive enough. Well, I know I already said it wasn't cohesive. Isn't strong enough to like is ah, hold on. It's not strong like Flames, where it's just like where the Pokemon just all feel very overpowered. Like you said, I agree to you to a certain extent. I think the damage output is really coming from Landers, Incin, uh Electivire if it's I mean, Electivire is probably never clicking follow me here if I'm being honest.
That is true, and Wild Charge is kind of hurt. And 123 attack is fine.
Yeah, I mean the real damage output is just coming from Landers for the most part. But um there are a few issues that I have with this team. I'm not sure if you've set them yet. You probably have. But outside of the top four of Landers, Incineroar, Clefairy, I just don't find a lot of things on this team that I'm just generally scared of if I see them on team preview or even just in prep. Um, like outside of that top four, there just isn't a lot to work with here. And I think this team is really going to be missing out on a lot of stuff often. It's going to be missing out on some speed control. It's going to be missing out on damage output from other Pokemon. It's going to be missing out on bulk sometimes. I mean, I think this team is going to struggle a little bit. I I think there needs to be more cohesion, better speed control. There needs to be a little better damage output. I just think this team lacks in almost I just think this team lacks a little bit in a lot of categories. Overall,
Yeah,
I
the other thing is like the fast mode is kind of ambiguous because like your fast mons are like fast but not that fast, and then and there's no. I mean, your tailwind is Dodrio, which is not in my opinion, not a spot you want to be in. Generally, relying on Dodrio to set tailwind, and then on the flip side, like yeah, you have Grumpig, and I think Grumpig is like a fine low tier Trick Room setter, but also like, what are you setting Trick Room for? Embor, I guess. Regice doesn't do anything. I
Jeez.
what?
uh Nothing. I'm laughing at Regice tier one.
Is this Is this dude? It has similar problems to radials, I think. Like bad speed tiers, cohesion isn't quite there.
Except it doesn't have iron hands,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
is it a whole tier worse than radials though? Probably not.
Definitely not.
I
But
think we throw it in C tier.
I'd say C tier. I don't really care where it is in C tier.
Okay. All right, Depp's team.
Hmm. Is it my turn?
It sure is.
Can you switch to his team?
I did.
Okay, there we go. I couldn't see it for a second. Um, okay. Pitar, Exca, Rotom, Salazzle, Gardevoir, Houndstone, Hypno, Ariados, Latios, Tauros, Dunsparce, and Hippopotas, as some may say it. Um, So this this team is pretty good overall. I think the sand mode. I mean, obviously, T-Tar Excadrill good. Wow, what? T-Tar Excadrill good? Who could have guessed? Um, T-Tar Excadrill is really strong. It's a good one-two punch. They cover each other really well. I'm sure we've all heard this like 1,000 times at this point. Um, Looking at the speed tiers are pretty good. He has a very reliable set tailwind setter in Latias. He has a very mm, yeah, he has a very reliable trick room setter in Gardevoir and Hypno. Well, maybe not Hypno, but probably Gardevoir. He has fast fake out. His his physical damage output is good. His special damage output is good. He has Intimidate. He fills out his type cores. I mean, I'm not gonna say this team is like really broken or anything, but it definitely feels a lot of the holes that a team might want when drafting. And yeah, I think this team feels a lot of the holes that a team will want. And it checks all the boxes. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any strong feelings for it or against it. It's just really solid overall.
Yeah, okay, Phoebe, I sent you. They asked for me to add them to the Discord, so um, sent them a friend request. But I think that this team, it's solid. I think that this is another one of those teams. There's a couple of them in this. Actually, there's a lot of them in this division that are kind of like mega trick room weak, and I think that like again, like he's got decent counterplay to TR, but like if TR goes up, it's like you're fighting the Dunsparce, Ariados, and Hippopotamus, and so like that's a little sketch. However, Houndstone is a great mon. I think it's really underrated. Last Respects is one of the dumbest moves in existence, behind like Rage Fist, and like Tutar Exca, we all know is good. Um, and like Salazzle's a great Pokemon. Latias is a great switch in for Exca and T-Tar generally. Like switches in on ground and fighting for them. Uh, Exca covers Fairy for it. Like that's a really good little fantasy core type thingy there. Guardy is solid just to like you could click Earthquake next to it. I don't. It could probably be different, but like a fairy, like having a fairy is good. And then I think that the main thing I have is like it's a little weak to TR. And then yeah, like Joshy said, like if weather's not up, this team like is kind of ass. So that's a little bit more of an issue, I think. But he does have two setters, although one of them is kind of not a real Pokemon. Where are you feeling for this, Toxic?
Um, Mid B.
Yeah, like I think it's better than Phoenix's, probably.
Wait, is Phoenix in B?
Yeah,
Okay. Um, yeah, I'd put it there probably.
cool. All right, Joshy's team. I'm sure he's been waiting for this one.
Well,
So,
is it my turn now, or is it your turn?
I think you started the last one, so I'll do this one.
Oh, cool.
So I like this team a lot. I think that this is, I mean, Goldengo, Urshifu Single Strike, and Prankster Tailwind is like kind of a at this point a pretty tried and true combination of mons. Like Goldengo and Urshifu switch in for each other almost perfectly and cover each other offensively almost flawlessly. So like that's great. I think Rotom Wash is also a fantastic pairing with Goldengo. Murkrow is also great because Goldengo likes Tailwind and it likes haze next to it so it can reset its make it raindrops. Haxorus is a great Pokemon. Iron Moth is a great Pokemon. Florges is a great Pokemon. Like it's a lot of good Pokemon here. Um, the this is another one where the Trick Room matchup is a little sketch to me. Like there's barely any Trick Room presence here, but the damage output is high enough that like between Gholdengo and Urshifu, you can probably kill the Trick Room setter or force it to Terra at the very least. Um, Murkrow does not get fake tears.
It doesn't get fake tears. If it did, I'd know.
No, it doesn't. But Iron Moth has acid spray. Um, I like this team. I think generally like you have a lot of like two good mons that share a weakness. Like Urshifu and Haxorus share fairy weakness. Goldengo and Moth share ground. But then you have a lot of other mons to cover for that well. Um, like Rotom and Murkrow and even I guess Cryogonal if you want cover the ground thing. Goldengo kind of and Iron Moth cover the fairy thing. Like it's kind of a min maxy type matchup there, but I think it works. It works fine. Um, Having no reds in the type chart again. I'm not one to live and die by the type chart, but I think it's like I mean that looks pretty. Gentle. Yeah, I was gonna say Swalot is like not good, but it's a low. It's a tier 6. It's not the worst tier 6. Honestly, there's much worse tier 6s than that. Um, yeah, I like this team. My only like big complaint. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My only huge complaint is like the trick room stuff. The trick room presence is a little rough. But what do you think, Toxic?
Um, I mean, you kind of said it all for me. The offensive, in terms of offense, this team is very potent. Urshifu Dingo, like just looking at like the stats and type and abilities too, they cover each other near perfectly. He has good tailwind with it. Probably the best tailwind setter you could pair him with Dingo, actually, in terms of synergy, of course. Um, he has Haxorus. Rotom hits pretty hard too, and so does Iron Moth, especially. I mean, damage output's really good. He feels his type cores pretty well. His speed control is good outside of Trick Room. I think I agree with you on that front. I think his Trick Room mode isn't very good, and he's gonna find a lot of weeks where that does get abused against him. And I think this team is gonna fall into the general category of the type of team that doesn't set Trick Room or like reverse it, since well, if you want to reverse Trick Room, you kind of gotta bring Bronzor. But this team is generally gonna fall into the category of team that wants to punch you before you even said it, which I think that's kind of hard this gen. I think that's kind of hard to pull off this gen sometimes. But with as potent of an offensive core this team has, I mean, it might work. It honestly might work. I'd put this team high A, honestly. It's really good.
Yeah, I think it's borderline S and A. The trick room matchup kind of makes me lean not S.
It's
I
not
think it's better
very
than Flames though.
I'd say
Uh,
I'd say they're about one for one, bar for bar.
yeah. I'll just yeah.
It
We'll
don't
leave
matter.
those both in A.
We'll figure it out.
Mhm. Okay, and then okay, we're on Thunderballs. I need to use the bathroom, so you can start this one, and I'll be back in a sec.
All right, cool. Thunderball has Ogerpon Wellspring, Glamora, Higgaton, Reuniqueless, Rabombi, Blackie, Abominable, Dactrio, Thunders, Gouging Goat, Cacturn, and Ghastly. Um, Looking at this team, it's pretty solid. I mean, looking at the speed tiers right now, the speed tiers are pretty well rounded overall. And I'd say there's like really only one gap, and I put parentheses and I put like quotes over that gap because it's only by like 10 points. Um uh he doesn't really oh yeah, Rabombi is really good tailwind for this team on top of speed control from Thundurus. It has pretty good speed control when it comes to Reuniclus. Reuniclus isn't the best Trick Room setter, but it is a good Pokemon that also sets Trick Room pretty decently, so that's fine. He also has Follow Me with Ogerpon, which is really going to come in clutch for a lot of this team, considering that actually no, the team's bulk is fine. Um, uh, I think the damage output from this team is pretty incredible. Thundurus can do some pretty good damage with its Thunderbolts. Gouging Fire isn't the strongest right off the bat, but once it gets boosted, it does some of the most damage you can see in the game. Ogerpon Wellspring does insane damage overall. Lamora somehow is probably the best damage dealer in this on this entire team. I mean, this team to me fills a lot of pretty good boxes overall. The only thing I could possibly say is that like there are a few Pokemon on here that I feel like aren't really needed. Like I feel like Blacky's at tier 4 really only provides Grassy Glide for Ogerpon since Tinkaton is already your fake out user. So I think Blacky could probably get traded away. Um, but outside of that, I don't really have any big gripes with this team overall. I mean, Gouging Fire, Thunderous, Ogerpon is just a very strong starting core. And I think, honestly, think Thunderous could probably be tier 1. But that's a whole other discussion. But my point is, I think that's a very strong core. And I think the rest of the team supports that top core very well. I'm not sure when Wake is going to get back, but oh,
I'm
speak of the
back.
devil.
What's up?
Yeah. I was just saying that this team is pretty good. It fills a lot of boxes. I think Thunderbolt could trade away Thwacky for something different. But outside of that, um, outside of that specifically, I think this team is pretty solid. Very good damage output, to be honest. Good speed control, good fake out. I mean, I I'll wait until you say something to give a take on its TA for now.
Okay. So I will start off by saying that Glimora is not a fair Pokemon. I think that mon is ridiculously broken. Um, and Ogerpon I think covers for it pretty nicely. Thundy might get all the weathers now.
I don't know about sandstorm or
Cause,
snow,
cause
but it
Torn
definitely gets all the relevant weathers.
Torn gets all of them. Okay, for some reason Torn gets all of them, but not. That's funny. Weird. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Um.
do you have any thoughts? There you go.
Yeah. So I think that speed tiers are good. Speed control is good. You have the Prankster Thunderwave and the Fake Out Immune Tailwind at base 124. Um, Trick Room mode is like fine. The thing I don't mind, the thing I like about Reuniclus is that it sets Trick Room pretty consistently, and then it kind of does its own thing under Trick Room. It's not like something like Grumpig where you set Trick Room and now you're like Mon, it still isn't doing anything. Because Reuniclus is really strong and it has like Magic Guard Life Orb or Regenerator, like it's really strong, so I like that a lot. And then Crabominable is like a fine little partner for it. Um, I mean I like this team a lot. Like the Thundy Gouging Fire core, I think you had that in FPT, didn't you? And it was really insane.
Wait, say that one more time. What?
The Thundy Gouging Fire core, you had that in FPT,
Oh yeah, that's pretty
and
good. Only said Sun for Gouging Fire. It clicks
yeah,
Leer. It does speed control. I mean, Thundy kind of pairs well with everything, to be honest. But
and you can howl next to like offensive Thunderous too if you want. If you want to get crazy. Um,
yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean I like this team. I think
I don't really have any. I feel like this
yeah,
happened a lot to me today. I don't really have any strong thoughts on it. It's like
yeah.
pretty good.
Like, I think it's at least A, right?
Yeah, I'd say low A.
I think it's better than Kyle's.
Oh yeah, let's put it over that then.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sasso's team. I know he said he was only here to hear my thoughts on his team, so let me give it to him. Okay, so right off the bat, I like Kilo Garchomp as a Disquake mode. I think that's really good. Um, my main problem with this team is it is really frail. Um, like it goes fast, but like the only like I mean, okay, Flutter is bulky on one side. Garchomp's bulk is like fine, but the typing doesn't help it too much. Um, and then other than that, it's kind of like Kilo and Grafia and Shiftry are all really frail. Clawitzer is like average bulk. Rampardos, Basculegion are frail. Typhlosion is frail. Levani and Quillfish are also both kind of frail. So the defensive backbone on this team is not great. However, I do think that the core of Flutter, Garchomp, Kilo is very solid, offensively speaking. Um, I don't get the Bronzong. Like it is the bulkiest mon on this team by a wide margin. But like in my opinion, you shouldn't be spending that many points on a Trick Room setter where you don't really have like the most insane Trick Room sweepers. Like Clawitzer and Rampardos are strong, but they're not that slow. Like to me, I think at this point in the current like state of the game, if you're using Amon under Trick Room consistently and it's not slower than like Ursaluna, that base 50-ish, you like it's kind of rough. It's kind of hard because there's a lot of mons around that spot. Enamorous Therian, Ursaluna, Ursa Blood Moon. I mean, half the Trick Room sweepers are slower than that. Even stuff like Kaparaja. So I do think that this is another team where the Trick Room matchup is a little iffy. Um, and then, but I do like the fast mode here, like Shiftry and Typhlosion and Garchomp and Flutter all love the Kilo support. The issue is if Kilo dies, I'm scared about what happens to this team because you have Flutter doesn't need Tailwind. It's fast enough. It has booster speed. It outspeeds some mons when they're under Tailwind and you're not. It's fast. But like Chomp wants Kilo, Shiftry needs Kilo. Clawitzer and Rampardos like to have Kilo. Typhlosion needs either Scarf or Kilo. It's really hard for me because Kilo is a mon that can get like double prioritied and just die to two like light neutral hits. So that's a little bit. I'm a little bit hesitant about that part. But what do you think, Toxic?
Yeah, I think in terms of, I don't think you really mentioned this. I mean, you might have, but I think in terms of damage output, this team is pretty insane.
Yeah,
And
it is.
I think the speed control coming from this team is pretty good too. I'm pretty sure Grafai gets Scary Face. Can you check that for me? I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but it might.
It does.
Okay, so that's something. Um, I think the speed control from this team is really good, but the main issue that I have, that you also had, is defensively, and in terms of like bulk overall, it's not very bulky. I mean, the bulkiest mons on this team are Bronzong and Garchomp, which I mean, having Bronzong as your bulkiest Pokemon isn't very crazy, but even then, I'm not sure how well Bronzong works here, considering that the Trick Room mode isn't isn't very good over in my opinion. I mean, like you said, it's just Clawitzer, Rampardos. Rampardos isn't very good, and Clawitzer is incredible. But I don't know. I think I think if this team patches up some of its frailty a little bit, um, and maybe gets a better trigger mode for Bronzong or trade Bronzong away for a better steel type or something, I think this team could work. I mean, I think it's it's honestly not bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just
I
think there's some stuff to patch out. I think this team could work.
Yeah, I do like it. I just like the bulk is a little scary. I will say I did Joshi and Sasso pointed this out. We did kind of gloss over the sun mode. There is a bit of a sun mode with like Grafai Eye, Shift Tree, Typhlosion, I guess Levani if you're into that, but I don't know. My thing is like Shift Tree in my opinion is kind of ass if you're not running Wind Rider because base 100 attack is just like nothing. Um so that's not like super convincing, but the Typhlosion Sun is real. The problem is like you either have to run Scarf, which I mean Scarf Typhlosion in the sun is going to be doing a lot of damage. Like that's fine, but the problem is like if you're not running Scarf, like if you need another item to hit calcs, then it's like okay, I'm running Typhlosion. I want Sun and Tailwind up, so leading I'm leading Kilo to set Tailwind, and then I'm getting Typhlosion in next to Grafai. I don't. I find that to be kind of a hard um, flowchart to like make sense of to me. I think Sasso could figure it out though. I'm not saying it's impossible.
The sun,
The
I didn't even think about the sun mode. It's honestly pretty solid.
Yeah, and then obviously like we all know like Flutter also likes to have Sun, so that's a thing too. Hmm. I'm feeling like high,
Top
like
B.
mid B.
I'd say top. Not, I don't know about top,
I
but
think
I'd
it's
say
worse than Depiz is, but kind of more close to
there's-
like around like Master Phoenix or Burst.
yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere in that range.
All right, so I'll let you start my team. I know Sebsy's in chat, and he's immediately gonna call you a glazer no matter what you say. So tread carefully.
No matter what I say, he's gonna call me a glazer.
Yeah.
Oh, but this team: Torn for Graph, Meowscarada, Hitmontop, Vikavolt, Typhlosion, Revavrum, Venonat, Basculegion, Ursula, Dedenne, Arctibax. Um, this team is pretty good. Uh, right off the bat, you chose like two of the best speed control options in the game. I mean, Corn is the best. Eh, Whimsicott might be better at setting Tailwind, but it's one of the best Tailwind setters. It's at least top two, at the very
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
It's at least top two. And for Rigorath, when it comes to setting Trick Room, is pretty unparalleled. On top of that, your damage output for this team is very good. Um, Horn and Farigarath aren't slouches, especially for Farigarath if you're using Throat Spray. Typhlosion's pretty good. Meowscarada's pretty solid. But what I'm mainly looking at is that Basculegion and Ursaluna core. Those two do pretty insane damage overall, and it's going to be very hard to calc against that for your opponents. On top of like Typhlosion and stuff. Um, I think your trick mode's pretty good. I mean, Farigarath, Hitmontop, Ursaluna. Really, all you need is Farigarath and Ursaluna. But Hitmontop definitely helps a little bit. Um, you don't really need Fake Out that much, considering that you have Armor Tail, and so you could kind of just deny it anyway. But you do have the option to click Fake Out, so that's pretty good. And you have Intimidate. Your fast mode is pretty good as well. Torn Meowscarada Typhlosion is pretty strong. Especially when you add Basculegion in there under Tailwind. I mean, this team is pretty good. I mean, I can't really go super deep into it because like it doesn't really. This isn't like a type of team where it has like a lot of modes, but its modes are like pretty potent. I'd probably put this S. I mean, or like top of A. Uh, what do you think about your own team or something? I don't know, bro.
um, so I'm happy with it. I think like you said, like Torn and Farig are two of the best mons at setting their respective speed control options. So I think that's cool to have both. And that's also like you can also just like set Tailwind and have Farigarath click Hyper Voice, and it's pretty strong. So that's cool. Ursaluna and Basculegion are two favorite mons of mine, so like I'm excited to use them again, and I think they're well supported here. Um, like Ursaluna has a good disc quick partner with Vikavolt, and it can click EQ under Tailwind next to Torn because 50 is just fast enough that like yeah you can outspeed a lot of Tailwind stuff. Um, I I'm happy with like the overall picks on my team. Like I think the only mon that doesn't have like a consistent reason it would be brought is Arctibax probably. I think the other 11, like I think Dedenne and Venonat are real tier 6s. Um
I was about to say, what do you mean? Bidonat's probably never coming either, bro.
no, it has Rage Powder.
All right, Esser.
I'm saying it has a legitimate use case. I'm not saying I'm going to bring it cuz I'm probably not going to bring it
Are you putting your
because
team
it's
in
me.
Esser?
I listen. People clown on us because we're right. They clown on us because we're right and our teams are good. I think mine is S.
All right, go ahead. I'm not gonna fight you.
Okay. M-Boss team. This team is cool. I like this team a lot. So he has Chenpao, Iron Boulder, Milotic, Noivern, Luxray, Lucario, Decidueye, Seviper, Entei, Clefable, Honchkrow, Whiscash. So I think this is a very good, a very well constructed Chenpao team. Um, I think that having Iron Boulder and Entei in okay, hold on. I just want to point
Can
out,
you? Uh,
Toby, you said in question of the day that my team is probably the strongest. And now you're clowning on me for putting it in first. Or in S tier. I haven't even put it first yet. Anyway, um we can't get a break, Toxic. We get clowned for everything we do. This is
please start
crazy.
talking about Mason's team, bro.
Um I I like this team as a Chenpao team. I think it's really good. It has a good mix of like Iron Boulder and Entei are great partners for Chenpao. Milotic is a great partner for like all of the physical attackers on this team, both defensively and the fact that it just is intimidate deterrent, which is great. The special damage output on this team kind of sucks. Um, it's like Milotic, Noivern, and I guess Clefable. Lucario can be both, so I guess that's real. But yeah, thank you, Toxic. Chat is crazy today. I think it's a little frail, but Milotic and Clefable help with that, so I don't think it's like a huge problem. Um, this is another one where like the Trick Room matchup is a little sketch. Nothing slower than 60 is a little tough. Um, but the damage output is good enough. Like you can probably stop Trick Room going up, but um, what do you think about this one, Toxic? I'll withhold my opinion on where it goes till you talk.
Um, looking at the team, it's honestly very good. Shinpao Inte, I mean, if you paid attention to VGC a little bit, you know Shinpao Inte is really good. But then you put Iron Boulder on top of it, and then like you have redirection for it. Um, I mean, eh, this should go for like every Shinpao team, but the physical damage output, to say the least, is pretty nasty. If you're prepping for this team, you're investing a lot into physical defense. Um, he has intimidate deterrent. He has really good tailwind. Um, really the only flaws I could say with this team are that like I think he has I think he has very good Pokemon that specialize in doing special damage, but nothing that's really very good at dealing special damage, if that makes any sense.
Mm.
Um Also, if when I'm looking at this team, it also doesn't have a very crazy trick room mode overall. Actually, does it have a trick room setter?
Yeah, there's no mon that gets Trick Room, but Gentle did say like I mean the TR matchup is probably just priority spam, which is fair.
Yeah,
But I still
yeah,
would like there to be a mon that gets Trick Room at least.
yeah. I mean,
Oh, no
there's
fake
also
out.
no fake out.
Mm, one of my biggest pet
I
peeves.
Yeah, Wickman really doesn't like that. Um, I I think this team is missing some stuff. I think it really wants a very strong special attacker, and at least for me, I like for there to be at least one trick room setter. Um, and maybe fake out if he wants. But I think this team's really good. I honestly probably put it S.
So
Uh,
I'm gonna let you decide this one because I was going to say S until I realized there's no fake out and no trick room, and now I want to put it in A. So
I'd
it's
say
your
I
call. I just can't put my stamp of approval on putting a fake out list, trick room list team in S tier. But I'm gonna let you make the decision.
In my opinion, I don't think every team needs fake out. But you want to put it in A, right? Actually, there's
I
a
would.
lot of teams in A. I put it in S.
Is it better than Flames?
Yes. Yes.
I don't think it is.
It's better than Flames.
Dude, no fake out is so tough. And no trick room? Dude, with a team that like wants to click you know what beats priority spam?
I
Fake
mean,
out.
I guess I mean you could click that turn one, I guess. Yeah.
Well, first off, some of the teams in this division have multiple fake outs. Second off, fake out's not always coming on lead. And like Sebsy just said, how like if you have fake out, if the opponent has fake out, like they're getting trick room out up so free, which this team does not want. Like, yeah, priority spam is real, but like,
Like I said, I think no fake out and no trick room is very rough. I think Mason will definitely want to get that more than anything else. But I'd still put it in S over Flame purely because it's more cohesive.
I
It's
don't
more
think it
cohesive
is. I don't
overall,
think it
and it's
is.
a lot stronger.
I don't think
Bro,
it is
it's
more
more cohesive.
cohesive, dude. Ogre Spectre, Roaring Moon is a way better core, I think, than Chen Pao, Entei, Iron Boulder. Okay, yeah, Sebsy, you can protect turn one, but then if you're protecting turn one, how are you stopping Trick Room?
I'll also say as redirection, which really helps delay and stall trick room if he needs to do that.
But
But
Clefable's not that good.
it's very good.
I
It's
think
a it's
Clefable's
tier
mid.
two.
I think it's
It's
mid.
what? Oh my god.
But
We put it
that's
as
a
we have four teams in A tier.
okay.
We
But
put it in
my
S.
no, Sebsy, I was actually about to propose that we move Flames up to S and put M bosses at top of A.
You know what?
But
Let's do it. Let's do it.
okay, my just last thing I want to say about that, and it's not just me ranting. I do just want to say something actually real about this. I think the no trick room on its own would not be that big of a deal. And no fake out on its own, while it's a personal thing I don't like, it wouldn't be that big of a deal on a team like this. However, missing both, in my opinion, is really tough. You do have two inner focus mons, but I don't think that's good enough. And no ghost type. but 2 inner focuses. So you do have 2 fake out immunities. Okay, we'll move on. Sorry, I don't mean to
Yeah.
rant too much, but I did just want to explain so it wasn't like I was just yelling hot takes, because I got a little into the weeds, on that one. The mid clef allegation is a real take, but
Uh,
I'm not gonna
uh,
explain that one here. Anyway,
whose turn is it again? I forgot.
I think I started M bosses, so I think it's you.
Okay, you do this one. Oh, me. Okay. Uh, all right. Otto's got Rillaboom, Heatran, Oranguru, Electabuzz, Blastoise, Mandibuzz, Carbink, Palossand, Latios, Sneasler, Go-Go, and Piloswine. So I mean, this team kind of fills a lot of the boxes that a team will want. It has very good priority. It has good fake out. It has good trick room. It has good tailwind. It has very good speed tiers. I mean, your fastest mon is Sneasler, which it's also gonna get a lot faster under grassy terrain. I mean, that Rillaboom Sneasler core is very good. Excuse me, Jesus. Okay, he has follow me. He has a very good firewater grass core. Um, I guess he completes his fantasy core with Carvink or something. That's pretty cool. Uh, this team, it's honestly pretty solid. I don't think it's anything too insane. I mean, I think Rillaboom, Sneasler, Heatran, Latios is a very good top core. You could even include Electabuzz in there. I think the team covers all of its members very well. It's very cohesive as a unit. Um, And this team just has all the tools that the team will probably want in general. I mean, I'd say that I think the Trick Room mode could use a little work, but I also think his top tiers work well enough to be under Trick Room if he wants as well, like a min speed Heatran or just Rillaboom in any speed situation, considering that no matter what, it's probably going first with Grassy Glide anyway. Um, I mean, this team's pretty solid. Uh, I don't think it's super crazy, but I think it's probably one of the more cohesive teams in this division. What are you thinking?
I think this team is broken. Um, I think that the cores of okay, the defensive profile is incredible. Like your firewater grass core is crazy. Um, like oh sorry, I read Buzz is a solid redirector, and I thought it meant Mandibuzz, and I was like, wait, am I missing something? But yeah, um, he meant Electabuzz. Anyway, the defensive profile in this team, I'm very very convinced by. Like Rillaboom, Heatran, Blastoise, I think is an absolutely fantastic Firewater Grass core. Like they cover for each other a lot. Fake out helps Blastoise set Shell Smash. Grassy terrain means EQ doesn't hurt Heatran as much. Um, and the Latios covers the Heatran and Latios paired together almost perfectly. Heatran and Mandibuzz also pair together almost perfectly. So like the bulky core here is fantastic. And then when you factor in on top of that, like the Sneasler go burr mode, I really really like this team. Um, the Oranguru is a little bit like I think Sezzy said, "What is Oranguru setting Trick Room for?" And that's kind of real. But I do think like Oranguru is a good mon that does good stuff outside of just setting Trick Room, like yawn spam, encore or disable, kinda, even though it is kind of slow at doing that. Um, Screens like inner focus makes it just a generally consistent support mon. Plus like instruct if you want to do that. I really like this team. I think I was feeling S, but it sounds like you probably aren't toxic.
It's very good. Uh, I mean, I'm down to put it S, but personally, I don't think it's better than Mason's. I'd put it like right. I put it below him at the very least.
Okay, you conceded on putting Mason in S, so I will concede and put Otto in A.
Yeah, I think that's a fine placement.
Cool. Okay, three more, four more. Okay, I'll start with Gambits. Right? You started autos. Yeah, you
Uh,
did. Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
did. I think I
Okay,
also started on Masons, but you know,
I started Mason, so we're on
okay.
track
Oh,
still. Okay, Mouse Ape. So, I think this team is very weird. Um, well, Thunderball, we'll go through at the end and like kind of reassess how we order everything, and we'll set like a definitive order. I don't. I Toxic. I think you would agree. Our ordering within the tiers is not definitive yet, right?
it's not definitive yet.
So, Mouse Ape. Obviously, everyone sees Mouse Ape, and it's like, oh no, scary. I don't. I don't really like this Mouse Ape team. Like obviously you can totally just win games with Mouse Ape no matter what the team is around it, honestly. Like Mouse Ape is one of those weird like independent cores where it's like I can lead whatever and like Salamence Don fan, click Tailwind and EQ and then oh, you double KO'd me by clicking Icy Wind once. Oh, now I have Mouse Ape in under Tailwind and I win. So it's like it's good. Mouse Ape is good. However, like man, dude. I just don't get like Toby. That's a great way to put it. Mouse ape thumbs up. Everything else eyebrow up emoji. Um, Speed control, not great. Uh, your icy wind users are slow. Your tailwind user is
It's Salamence.
Salamence. Your only trick room on being Espeon is also rough. And while I do think it's funny to sit around and say, haha, Mouse Ape, you don't need speed control, you don't need other good Pokemon, you can just click buttons with Mouse Ape. That is like kind of true against players who are like not, like don't know how to play against it. But if you're fighting someone who like has a good team and understands how Mouse Ape works, which I think a lot of people in the community do at this point, I think it's very hard to justify that as like a reason to not draft other things. And okay, yeah, Frostmoth. I was just kind of counting the good Tailwind setter here, which is not even that good because it's not that fast and it has four times weaknesses. Well, one four times weakness, but then it's also weak to like Fairy and Dragon and Rock, which are all kind of tough. I think this team is mid. I don't think it's bad. Uh, like Empoleon could be something else. I don't think you need that extra. Like I feel like most of Empoleon's like moveset or like value in the tier it's in is I have competitive and like why do you need that when you have Annihilate? Um, what do you think, Toxic?
I think, obviously Mouse-Ape's really strong, but like outside of that, I think the team could use a bit of work. Salamence and Polion Sylveon is a very good fantasy core with Mouse-Ape, but I think like the actual support for like your main two isn't great. And I'm not talking just like general support peaks. I just mean like faster tailwind, better tailwind, uh, a better trick room setter. Just like I feel like without Mouse Ape immediately on the field, I think this team is really gonna falter. It's not really cohesive enough. I feel like the stuff outside of Mouse Ape isn't really cohesive enough to work without that proper speed control. Honestly, that's just my main gripe. I think speed control definitely is the main thing to fix here. It's gonna be hard because you're gonna have to change Salamence to something else, and that kind of messes up your fantasy core. But I think at the very least, Espeon could be changed because Salamence is like it's not the greatest tailwind out there, but it's fine. It's very serviceable compared to other tailwinds, at least. Um, yeah, that's my take on it. I think Mouse Ape broken. but I think some of the stuff around it needs a little bit of need should get a second look. You know, just think about better trick room and maybe a better tailwind setting. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't.
Maybe a fire type too, but
Yeah, that's the other thing is like there's only one fairy resist here, and when two of your best Pokemon are Annihilate and Salamence, I don't really love that. I will say nobody's bringing Intimidate into this team. I bring. I'm a
yeah.
huge. I'm a huge proponent for just bringing Intimidate, regardless of if they have Defiant or Competitive. If it looks good into like their other Pokemon, I wouldn't even. I wouldn't even touch Intimidate into this team. So there's that. Um, this whole team is like anti-icy wind. Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, I mean, clicking icy wind is scared, or is scary, even though might kill Salamence, but you also might switch in Annihilate or Superior or Empoleon. Yeah, Lantern is not like a Pokemon at all, but also it's like there probably wasn't anything better. C
It,
or B?
I just don't like the vibes. uh, I'd probably. Hmm. Is it better than that business? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think it's close.
Okay, you're probably
I
right.
think Deposis is way
I
better.
don't think.
I think the
Here's
argument
the
is more
thing.
is it better than Radials?
Yes, it's better than Radios, in my opinion. I think there's a bit more cohesiveness to it than Radios.
So would you say
I'd say below Burst.
in B tier?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. I started that one.
I'm gonna start Toby.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Bobby.
All right, y'all want to see glazing? I got you. So his team has Urshifu Rapid Strike, Politope, Raichu, Talonflame, Golurk, Slowbro, Basculegion, Masquerain, Ogerpon, Alcremie, Cyclizar, and Sudowoodo. So right off the bat, this brother has Urshifu and Rain, bro. Those surging strikes are gonna hurt if you're not clicking that Terra button or if you don't naturally resist. And especially with like helping hand boosts, which he definitely has a lot of helping hand and some stuff to just generally boost his damage output. So right off the bat, his Urshifu's well supported with Rain, Lightning Rod, Fake Out, Tailwind, and Follow Me, and Decorate, which a lot of Pokemon don't get that. Actually, only Alcremie and Smeargle get that. But anyway, I think his Urshifu's very well supported. Um, on top of that, I think Ogerpon works here pretty perfectly. It has Follow Me, obviously, but it's also just a grass type to fill out that Firebrighter grass core with your two water types, Talonflame and obviously Ogerpon. Ogerpon does a lot of damage, as we already know. Um, I mean, he has a good ground type in Golurk. Yeah, he has a good ground type in Golurk, which also works with his Trick Room mode. His Trick Room setting, look, I don't vibe with Galarian Slowbro, but it is undeniably a good Trick Room setter for this team. It's a good Trick Room setting. It hurts to say that, but it's a good Trick Room setter. Um, but Golurk works really well with the Trick Room mode of, well, Golurk Slowbro, and oh, Alcremie. Alcremie works in the Trick Room mode. Um, His fantasy mode is Cyclizar, Alcremie, Bastiodon, which isn't great, but this team isn't really going to be relying on fantasy mode, so it doesn't matter. Uh, I think the main thing with this team is definitely going to be lead matchups. Oh my God, lead matchups! If you don't get the right lead against this team, you pretty much just lose. I mean, he could pretty much lead Urshifu next to anything if he wants. Uh, I mean, it's mostly just Urshifu next to anything, if I'm gonna be honest. But still, lead matchups is this into this team is gonna be weird. Really, the only flaw I can really say for this team, uh, is like obviously the fantasy core isn't great. That's kind of there's that, but there's also the fact that the special damage output isn't fantastic overall. Like, hmm. Weirdly enough, I'd say the strongest special attacker here is Politoed, and it doesn't make any sense, but under rain, it's very strong,
It's
and it's
that or
probably
slow, bro. It might be slow, bro.
maybe. But regardless, the special damage output isn't great, and if possible, that could be patched up. I mean, he has Alcremie and Politoed to help with
Oh
that.
yeah,
I'm gonna put some
also
respect on Alcremie.
Alcremie is also
I'm
not
gonna put
weak.
some. I'm gonna put some respect on Alcremie's game because it has a very high, it has a pretty high special attack stat, and it's not weak. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just maybe if you can better fantasy core. I doubt it, and just try to get a better special attacker maybe to help. But I think this team is pretty fantastic in my opinion. Maybe I glaze too much. I don't know. It's your turn, way.
Um, so personally, I don't really like Politoed here. I think Urshifu obviously likes rain, but I think when you only have like one rain abuser, you'd probably get more value out of another tier two that's not a type overlap. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, like they're saying in chat, like the fantasy core is kind of like really low tier, and it's like whatever, but um, it's like fine. Um, I respect a lot of these picks, but I don't know how much I like them. Mainly Bastiodon and Toby. I said to keep it when you asked me like during the draft. I didn't like. I asked if you were taking more rain stuff, and I don't remember what you said. So that's my bad if I said that after the draft. But um, anyway, uh, he asked us that on like round 3, right, or like round 4. He asked us like, should I
I
drop
don't
it
know,
in
bro.
grace?
Continue the analysis.
Um,
Continue the analysis.
listen. I know I already made Toby mad. I'm gonna make him even more mad. Alchemy is
Oh
also
no.
one of the picks that I think is it's fine on this team, but along with Bastiodon, like I think it's just kind of not good. But it fits fine on this team, so it's not that big of a deal. Um, I like this team. I don't know. I don't know if it's. It's not. I don't think it's S.
I don't think it's S. I think it's pretty high A though.
Yeah, Toby, you had 6 months. I told you hang on to it for now. Now that I see the whole draft, I think you should get rid of Polytoad. Maybe my opinion changed. It probably did. So that's my bad. But like lower end of A? Question mark.
I honestly, yeah, it's probably. I wouldn't say it's better than Joshy's, but I'd say it's better, definitely better than Cosmic Isles. I'd honestly say it's probably better than Thunderballs too. Maybe I'm tripping.
I I like Thunderbolts better, I think. The other thing I'll say about this team, it's kind of I mean Ogerpon is great. Like I think base Ogerpon has a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
Um and obviously Urshifu is strong, but like beyond those two, the damage output generally is kind of lacking. Like am I tripping there?
Mm,
It's not like a huge problem because obviously Urshifu is one of the best mons in the format at dealing damage.
it's fine. I mean, I think I don't really think there not being a lot of damage I put outside of that is like very crazy, especially since some of the lower tier Pokemon actually do carry their weight pretty well. Politoed's a pretty good damage output mon under rain. Raichu is no slouch. Talonflame isn't a slouch sometimes. I mean, I think the damage output's probably fine.
Um
Mid A.
Yeah, like
I'd say right there.
cool. I have no idea what's happening in chat anymore. Um,
What's happening?
Toby is mad at me. Okay, I'm not gatekeeping the S tier. I advocated for Flame and Auto to be an S tier. I mean, I feel like it's not that crazy. Urshifu and Ogerpon are there, and I acknowledge they're very strong. But like, your next strongest mon is Golurk. How strong is
Well,
Golurk?
looks pretty strong.
Okay, well,
Definitely
124. I thought
125.
its attack stat was lower.
And then you have like Alcremie, Politoed, and Durain, Raichu's. I mean, I pretty much just said that. Can we move to Splash?
Yes.
Thank you. Is
Okay.
it my turn?
I think you started Toby. So, all right. So this team. Somehow I have like not looked at this team. How am I not get? How am I gatekeeping S tier when I advocated for two other teams to be in S tier, both of which Toxic didn't want. I've suggested more S tiers than Toxic. Chad is capping right now. Anyway,
Look, man, I'm just so lovable.
right? Yeah. Spoiler alert: I don't think me or Toxic think his team is S. Just to be clear. Um. Anyway,
Oh, Splash's team.
so he has Screamtail, my beloved. Um. Huh. So this team is interesting because like the tier ones, neither of them are like the most absolutely broken, like fantastic carry teams, like or Mons. Sorry, I read teams in chat. Um, I have no idea why the average stats bar is a thing. It's just on this doc. I didn't put it there. Um, like Ogre Cornerstone and Screamtail are like good. They're really good, but to me, like the immediate standout is I wish this team had like better, like maybe another mon that was like uber broken, I guess. But maybe I'm tripping because Screamtail and Ogre are decent. Iron Crown, I don't understand here. I think Iron Crown without, I don't think Iron Crown without Psychic Terrain is worth drafting like hardly ever.
He's setting Psychic Terrain with Screamtail, bro. Trust me.
Ah, I see. Now I get it. But this team is just weird, man. Like I'm not tripping. Like, do you think this
Very
team is
strange.
weird? I think it's solid. Like I think Volk Como is cool. Like as a little um like pseudo like or not pseudo. It is just like a good Rage Powder setup mode and stuff like that. And like I think the value here is fine. Oh, excuse me. I just don't know. Like, what do you think? Maybe this one might be one we have to kind of talk about together.
Uh, this one, I can't put my finger on it. I'm gonna be honest. I think I think this team is definitely one of those teams that's definitely gonna really rely on setup a lot of the time, whether it be Como, Volcarona with Quiver Dance, even though it doesn't need to click Quiver Dance, Grimtail clicking Fake Tears for something, Ogerpon. Well, okay, Ogerpon doesn't need to click Sword Stance. Those IV controls hit pretty hard. But Psychic
Hmm.
Terrain for Iron Crown, I think a lot of the pieces on this team are gonna want setup, including Vaporeon as well. And I think Screamtail or Volcarona are both very good at facilitating that. Um, Outside of that, it's like nothing is like obviously really bad outside of like the low tiers because they're low tiers. But like everything is just so strange. I don't know, man. I I'd put this in B. Probably not high B, but like high. I mean low B. No, mid B. I'm not. I don't know.
I think it's better. I think it's better than Gambit's, worse than Burst here. I need to mute 1 second.
All right. Wait, is Wake muted right now? I can't tell because I can kind of hear him right now. Um, hmm. Can anybody else in chat hear him right now? I really hope they can. Oh, I really hope nobody else can hear this. Oh, okay. So he muted OBS. Thank God. How y'all doing, chat? I know some of us are kind of frustrated, but tune in for peak. We're still cooking. And hopefully we won't be cooking for too long. Oh, y'all can't hear me? Y'all hear me now? Is everything good? Can y'all hear me now?
I am very sorry. Um, they should be able to hear you.
I suddenly they couldn't hear me. It was probably me. It's probably my fault.
I
Uh,
muted
I,
myself, I
I don't
think.
know. It's fine.
Okay, they're just
Oh
they're just being cornballs. Got it.
no, it's
Um,
just Sebsy being a cornball.
wait. Oh, I wonder if I muted the wrong thing. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I'd
So
say I'd say put this team lower than Sasso's, and I'd say put it hot, like right above Burst. No,
I was
actually
thinking
lower than
below
Burst.
burst.
Yeah, below Burst. Also, how do you feel about putting Mason and Otto both in S tier?
I could compromise.
Okay, let's do that.
Oh, I could compromise.
Okay.
Okay, last team, Toxic. So this team is crazy. Oh, also, sorry I had to mute. My sister was in town from Florida and she was leaving, so I just had to say bye. Anyway,
Not
um,
not crazy in a good way, by the way.
so Toxic is waffling about this team being bad, and I'm here to
It's
tell him
so
it's
bad.
not bad. Um, so Tinglu, Cress, Gyarados, Gudra is like one of the most insane, bulky, like high tier, top tier modes that exists. I think Tinglu is broken. And then on top of that, I think Iron Valiant with Tinglu is broken. I think that the speed tiers here are good on both ends. I think the speed control could be better. There's no Tailwind. This is not a team where I hate having bad Tailwind. Sorry, there is Tailwind, but
Actually,
it's bad.
there we
Um,
go.
yeah, I don't think this team is bad. It's maybe a little bit worse than you normally draft, but I don't think it's bad. I think the team is still very good. Uh, but like Tinglu Crest under Trick Room is just like completely unbreakable. Like you literally just can't do anything about that. Like this team has one of the highest use cases I've ever seen for Fisher every week. Like in my opinion, Fisher is a move you bring on Tinglu maybe 50% of the time. You definitely don't bring it all the time. I could totally see you bringing it on this team like 75% plus of your matchups just because like you were going to have the chance to click it so much next to Cress. Um, but I like this team a lot. Do you want to talk about it?
Uh, I still kinda. I'm gonna be honest. I still kind of feel the same way about my team that I did before. It's not the worst in the world, but oh my God, this team is so bad. Uh, I In my opinion, I think it's like low B. Like
How is it
I'd
bad?
say it's low
Explain
B.
explain how this is bad.
Well, it's mostly just it's honestly just mostly the fast mode. I think the fast mode isn't great, and I think a lot of my team definitely lacks some damage output. Maybe I'm tripping, but I think I'm gonna struggle to really kill stuff a lot of the time, unfortunately. I'm kind of hard experiencing that right now, but it's whatever.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
I think the thing keeping it
I
from
just don't
being
like piloting stall, bro. I don't like piloting stall, and I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is a stall team necessarily.
It's a stall team.
Well, like I think stall maybe we're defining stall slightly differently. I feel like normally when I think of a stall team, I think of like I'm trying to take you to timer and like not kill things cuz this team kills things. However, the initial like turn 1 damage output is pretty much exclusively on Iron Valiant.
I'm actually Fissure from Tinglu.
True. But like you have a pretty decent like Gyarados setup angle with like redirection and stuff like that. Yeah, chat agrees it's not stall. Charles and Sebzi agree it's not stall. Um,
I don't know.
I like this team. It's not like broken. Like I don't think it's. I think it's probably better than Sasso's.
I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm just not feeling my team right now.
Okay, I'm
Mostly
gonna
'cause-
I'm gonna make an executive decision and put it above Sasso's because I think you're
that's cool.
waffling.
That's cool. Can we also put Depiz in A just so that way the tiers don't look really bad right now? Because I think there's
Yeah.
too much in B. Okay, cool.
I okay.
Honestly, I think this is a fine
Should we have a
top
team
to
in
bottom.
Should we have a team in D tier?
Look, man. I mm, I mean, putting a team at the bottom is basically putting it in D anyway. We might as well have it in there.
Yeah. So what's the worst team? Radial Kool Aid or
The team
Bowie?
at the bottom.
Well, we hadn't like hard set the order yet.
Uh, well, I'd say probably Bowie's probably the worst out of them, unfortunately.
Agreed. Okay, and then are there any like? Do you have any strong um? Do
Do I
you have
have any
any like
strong opinion?
strong opinions on like changing order?
I'm not gonna say anything about my team. I'm not gonna say anything about my team.
Thank
The
you.
only one that I might change the order on, and it's not really a big deal, but I'd put Mason above Flame personally. But we've already made a compromise, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Let's put them. Let's keep it how it is. I think the order's fine. We kind of already did it during the process of rating the team anyway, so it's fine. I think how it is right now is completely fine.
Cool. All right. Well,
All right, cool. I can finally do something else.
hey, that wasn't that long, right? That was 2 hours.
It was about two hours.
We have done longer than 2 hour streams for fewer
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
So I think this is a good result. Um, okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. There are a ton of people in chat, so appreciate all you guys for stopping in. I will post this ranking in the Basculegion chat. But thanks for watching, everybody. Toxic, do you want to say anything before we go?
Thanks for coming out, I guess. I'm not sure how many people are in chat or anything, but
There's still
I'm
nine
assuming there's
people.
a lot of people.
There's 9 people.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for coming out or something. I appreciate. Well, it's not my channel, so actually, I don't appreciate the support. Y'all should subscribe to me.
I'll have him linked. Oh, actually, okay, wait.
What?
Is my okay? We need to address this now because I said my team wasn't necessarily going to be first. Do you think it's first?
Uh, mm,
I think it's top four, so I think it stays in S tier. I don't know if it's top one, so I'm asking you because I know everyone's gonna call me out.
I'd say I honestly don't care if it's number one or not, if I'm being completely honest. I'd say it's very close in between you, Flame, and Mason. Since your team is good, but it's not, at least to me, it's not as good as your like normal type of team. Um, but I'd say I'd say it's pretty interchangeable between the three. Let's just say there's a tie between three.
Okay, that's cool with me.